Welcome back, everyone, to our Let's Play series of Motorsport Manager. So we're coming off a great finish in the first race of the year, and I say a great finish. It wasn't so much a great race because there really wasn't a whole lot we could do. We were just trying to survive, and we managed to do that and come home with a second place finish. So from that perspective, it was a great finish, but again, not the most fun race to run because everything is trying to conserve, so there's no attacking and none of that. But we'll take it. It gave us some much needed points, and our goal is not only to finish, as you can see in the bottom left-hand corner, at third or above in the team championship, which is where we are currently, but really our goal is to try to increase how competitive we are. Again, I'm looking at this as a very long-term project. I'm not so much worried about where we are this year. I'm trying to build our HQ and really, over time, get better and better staff so that we can prepare for eventually getting to the A-Class series in such a shape that we'll have the ability to compete fairly soon. Now, if you've played the game very much before, you know whenever you move up to another division, your car starts off terrible and you have to basically start from the beginning. But the HQ buildings will help you out with trying to get there as soon as you can. So I'm trying to do a lot of that, and then essentially our things like our drivers, they're sort of an afterthought at this point. We're trying to do the best we can with the money we have while keeping things within the guidelines of how I want to spend the money we have rather than worrying too much about our current performance. All right, we did have the one mistake there, but that was all, and hopefully the Auto Manage does a better job moving forward of managing the pit crew and specifically the stamina, because it's very clear that we've seen in past videos that once the stamina gets down low, it is nothing but mistakes and lots of them. So we're hoping to avoid that in the future, but we'll see how the Auto Manage does with that. All right, so which of the drivers are better? Car number one, obviously. Okay. So we got that done. Now, if we take a look at the car, we've got about 10 days remaining there. So we need to go ahead and get back to where we can improve our parts, which just takes a couple of days. And we've got some emails. Let's see. Oh, great. Sophia has been stealing stuff. That's just what we needed. So for the next 8 weeks, she is going to be diminished. That's perfect. What a great way to start the season. You got to love it. All right, so it also looks like we've got one sponsorship slot to fill up. And yes, okay, we're on Auto Manage. Just wanted to make sure. Our HQ is coming right along. We got 3 more weeks, and then our telemetry center will be up to a level 2. And then we got quite a while left for our design center. But again, all of this is long-term thinking. Let's get back to our car before I get too far ahead of myself. So these parts are in good shape. Let's see what's going to be important for our next race. The crucial parts are top speed, medium speed corners, and the high speed corners. All right, so the things we're going to need to worry about are the engine, which is already at 80, but could definitely stand to be higher. We're going to have to worry about the suspension and the rear wing. Now, the rear wing took a beating at this last race as well. Okay, so I want to get a little bit done. The good news is we have 30 days before our next race. So I want to get these parts a little bit better. I'll tell you what. Our suspension may be such that we can go ahead and take it off. Because remember, we have a new suspension that we're working on. And I can't remember how much better it is than our current one. I know it's not a lot, but it may be a little bit better. So let's go ahead and remove, let's see, is it part of it? Yeah, it's part of it. I'll tell you what, I'm going to leave it in there for just that reason, just in case. All right, so we've got 3 parts in there, and let's go ahead and add the rear wing, the one that's on car 1 anyway. Let's add that in there. We don't need them all the way up to 100. We just need to get them a little bit higher. So let's go ahead and move forward to our new suspension being finished, and then we'll sort of go from there. Okay, there's our email. Suspension build is done. And okay, let's go back out to our parts list. Okay, so it's basically not any better for now, but of course we're going to add it in over here under performance so that it can slowly work its way up toward the 341. All right, so for now, 84, 85, 86. Okay, those are all excellent. And let's move over to car 1 and see what we've got. I like these numbers quite a bit. Let's go ahead and work on these two as well. So everything is at least an 80. And I'm going to try to baby this a little bit and try to get these up to maybe around 90 or so, and then we'll come back to it after that. But I think we've got a great shot at car number 1 being in really good reliability shape before the next race. All right, suspension-wise, 341 is where we are now. Let's go back, because suspension is where I'm really interested. That's where we're really behind. So let's see what we can do with the 341 for this season. Obviously, we can do some things for next season, but this season is really what it's all going to come down to. So we want this, even though it adds 5 days. That's not great. And it's really our only option. I mean, we couldn't do this if we're concerned with this season. This isn't going to do us any good because it's only during qualifying, and I want to make sure everything we do carries over to next season. So I guess we're just going to lower the red zone, which is helpful, but not really what we're looking for. Now, we don't have the HQ buildings for any of the great components, but really they're not even all that great. One option here is if you wanted to spend an extra $1 million, you could take away a little risk, which would enable you to choose one of these. But overall, there's just not a whole lot there. But we're going to keep working on this thing because we do need to get this better. Even though it is very frustrating right now, the small steps we're having to take. But we're still going to continue doing it for the foreseeable future and try to get there. And then we'll work on the other parts as the money and time allows. All right, so this will get us to 381. Okay, so all the staff on reliability. Everything looks good. Oh, we got our 3 sponsor offers here. All right, finally, we're starting getting into some of the 2-star offers. Let's see what we've got. So we got 8 races at 1.6 million, but unfortunately, then we got over here a 1-star offer. So if we do the 1.6 million, that looks good on paper. That looks great, but unfortunately, it's only 200 grand a race. So the 400 grand per race is where we want to be. Now, it doesn't give us the huge amount up front, but I'm okay with that. We don't really need the upfront money right now. I'm just happy to be getting 2-star offers at this point. So, okay, everything else looks like we got, 3 races. We'll have some more to do, but for now, we are good to go. All right, so let's move forward a few more days. You can see reliability work done. Almost, and let's see, where are we? On 90, okay, that's perfect. Let's take these back off, and now we'll go with, let's see what we can do here. And let's see. Everything, 84, 86, 85. Okay, that's actually quite awesome. So we're in good shape there. We'll see if we can get up to about 80 on this one. But really, it's going to be all about this next build that we have, I think. So let's go ahead and continue on this. So the brakes, let's see, brakes, engine, gearbox. Everything is really in good shape. Let's go ahead and put the brakes in here. And we'll put the gearbox in here. Yeah, they really just don't need a whole lot. I tell you what, I'm just going to, let's try to get this one, done. All right, here comes our new telemetry center. Okay, there's our brand new HQ upgrade for the telemetry center, which let's see if we can spin around and get a better view of it. There we go. So we got our scouting facility here, our telemetry center. Now if we go to upgrade buildings, you can see our telemetry center. It's only $8 million to do the final upgrade here. So as opposed to some of these other upgrades, which are huge amounts, the telemetry center is really not all that much. Okay, so that is very good, and we'll take it. All right, let's see where we are on our car. All right, excellent. We're up to 81. And yeah, so it's a couple more days. This thing is actually going to be done. Okay. Yep, that's perfectly fine there. Let's move everything over. And for the final 6 days, I am just going to work on the performance and get it as high, get it as close to this 341 as we can get. Because you can see we're at 310 right now with the original part. So 341 would be a nice increase for us. And I would definitely love to see that. Okay, so let's keep moving. You can see performance work done. So it's not going to quite get to where we want it to be. All right, so our telemetry center is pretty good. We had level 2 out of 3, which is not bad considering we are a B-class team. But I've heard rumors that some of the other teams have better ones. No doubt they do. Do we have the money in the budget for an upgrade? Not quite yet. Not quite yet. But we're getting there. The 2-star sponsors will slowly allow us to get to where we want to be. For now, let's look at where we got 337 out of 341. That is perfect. Not quite full on that one, but I'm going to go ahead and remove it because I want to now move on to our next build. All right, and before we move completely away from the suspension on designing new parts, let's see if there's anything we can do to get above 381. Okay, you can see we're about on par with the average on the grid at this point. Not where we want to be, but it is something anyway. And as I feared, there's really not a whole lot else to do. I mean, basically what we did this last time is about all we can do. Everything else is either very specific on when it applies, which will not carry over to next season, or it gets us into building parts for next season, which is perfectly fine, but that's not really where I want to be right now. So let's go look at the gearbox. All right, automatically a plus 20 right there. And then the next time around, what could we get? Nothing there. Wow, nothing at all. We'll have to go with this option, which I don't want to do because I need to continue opening these. So not great. Not great. In fact, this makes no sense. Some of these make no sense at all. So the build time is less, which is always good. But then your reliability goes down and the red zone goes up. So that makes no sense why you would ever want to do that. So, wow, that's just... unless the only possibility I can see for even thinking that might be good is if you had some other options chosen. Maybe you've got, 4 or 5 of these unlocked and this is a terrible option, but it'll get you done a little bit quicker, and when combined with some of these other things that you've chosen is okay. But really, it's in and of itself is no good. All right, so yeah, I'm not all that happy with that. We can get this first one done. Let's go ahead and do that. We'll get the plus 20 on this build, and then we'll see where we stand after that. Okay, so that'll keep us going there. But now it is time to get prepared for this race. All right, so 5th or above, that's what we're looking for. And tire selection, we're going to go with our standard. Okay. And unfortunately, we already know that one of our drivers has been caught stealing, so that is a bad deal for us. That's going to hurt our performance. But hopefully, okay, we'll go ahead and move up to this particular suspension. And let's move down for car 2 and give it a little bit better reliability. And I think we're all set. Other than that, we've got our new brakes package, which we've got to, let's see, what are we doing here? Oh, we're not even working on that. Oh, my bad. My bad. completely, totally missed that. There we go. So we'll work on those two for the next race. And yeah, that just totally did not cross my mind to get those taken care of. All right. And I think we're good there. So we've got the parts we need on the cars we need them on, and it's time to head to the racetrack. All right, practice and qualifying are now out of the way, and qualifying went okay. We did manage to get into the top 5, so we got the sponsor objective for that part of the race, but we're still just we're about 3 to 4 tenths off of the pole, so that's kind of where I'm trying to judge. Now, because we have the driver aids as part of the rules package this time, the field is much closer together because the drivers mean less now. So it's all about the car. If you have a fast car, then you should be able to run closer to the front than in times past because there are simply fewer variables. All right, so as far as our knowledge bonuses, we did manage to get level 2 bonuses for both the race trim and the tires. The hard tires are, as we move over to the setup, the hard tires are the tire of choice. The medium tires are close to being able to get us to where we need to be and might in fact work, but it's so close I'd rather not take that chance. I plan on doing a 3-stop race. That's my plan. Again, we'll see how things go. Weather and all sorts of things can change that, but that's my plan, is to do a 3-stop race simply because I think that's better suited to where our drivers are. If we see that we're able to make it on 2 stops, then fine, but I'm planning on 3 stops, which means I'm counting on about a 45-minute stint here at the beginning, which is our driver with the least amount of stamina. So that's what we're going to judge this off of. Our starting fuel, you can see on both cars, I have reduced this from the max, and simply because the maximum amount of fuel would go longer than our tires can go. So there's really no need for all that extra fuel, and we can't really run the engine any harder because it's going to take a beating as is. So we're going to start out running on high engine mode, and hopefully we can keep that through the entire race. But again, who knows? I'm also going to start off pushing with car number 1. Car number 2, it just sort of is what it is, and we'll see how things go with it. So let's go ahead and move things forward. All right, so basically everybody is on the hard tire, a couple of medium tires in the field, but for the most part, everybody is on the hard tire. All right, I'm pretty excited to get this going. As always, we'll keep track of the tire wear, tire heat, driver stamina, all the things like that. Weather doesn't seem like it's going to be an issue, but as always, we'll find out as we go along. All right, so here we go. From the start, keep track of that tire heat. Remember, driver number 1 here, she's got a -1 on all of her traits, so she's not going to be as fast as she would normally be. Trying to get a quick glance at the weather. Doesn't appear as though it's going to be an issue. Tire heat is not an issue either. You can see it's slowly climbing, but overall, not a whole lot is going on with it. Not climbing very quickly anyway. So we'll try to keep it around the middle and then see how the tire wear goes on top of that. So we're coming up on where we want it to be right now. And then I am going to see how that works. So we find ourselves basically where we started. We've dropped 1 spot so far, but that's not the end of the world. We know how this goes in each race. So our goal is to stick to the program, stick to doing the things that we know we can do, and don't worry about anything else, because it's not really going to do us any good to try to fight with the other cars if it takes us off of our strategy. Yeah, and immediately the tire heat is going right back down. So we're going to try to push as much as we can and use this first stint as an indicator as to how much of that we actually can do. We know stamina is likely to be an issue with Sophia, but beyond that, we'll just have to see. Okay, so we're basically holding our own right now. Nothing too bad, nothing too good is happening. Toward the end of the race, we may run into some condition issues if we push too much. But again, we'll have to find that out as time goes on. But I'm happy for now with where we are in the field. Obviously, I'd like to be higher, but with everything that's going on, I think we're in good shape. All right, so we continue to push. We are now at about 50% tire wear, and we are 26 now minutes into a stint. So 45-minute stint is looking like it's going to be about the maximum we're going to be able to do here. It also means that we've got probably more fuel than we're going to need, and we might be able to adjust that for our next stint. All right, so still continuing to keep an eye on everything. Again, our goal, if we can make it 45 minutes in this stint, then I will be happy with our driver and car. We might be able to make it a little bit farther with our other two drivers. All right, we've got some stamina issues coming up on car number 2, but of course, we already know that's coming. All right, we've now moved up to 4th and seem to have pretty good speed. Things have spread out a little bit, so we're showing some pretty good pace here. Granted, we're having to push to do it, but we're showing some pretty good pace. All right, down to about 30% wear on the tires now. Okay, there comes our warning. For worn tires, it always comes at 30%. You can actually change that in the options. Okay, tires quickly come back down to the correct temp. So I'm really liking that. We're now 38 minutes in. I'm liking that. Let's go back to pushing some more. All right, we're now up to 3rd on the grid. Now our tire wear isn't exactly where we need it. You can see those around us have generally better tire wear overall than us. But again, we're running to a specific strategy at this point. And we're going to really, really hope that our the parts on the car will hang in there with us and allow this strategy to work its way out. All right, so the tires and the stamina all seem like they are going to be done all about the same time. We're going to run one more lap with her, and then we're going to come in and we're going to swap the drivers out. I like the idea of the 10 on expected form there. That's perfect. All right, fuel options. So we have 13, it says 13 laps left, so we'll call it 13 fuel remaining, and we got 45 minutes out of this stint. So if we fill it up, all right, so 13 remaining, that would take us down to about 52. I'm going to go 55. So we're going to give a little bit of extra in there, but not a ton. So this is pretty close to where we started. I think we started with 57. Parts condition, so far so good. We'll see if that continues. We're only 45 minutes in. So we got a driver swap, tires changed. Make sure I did select, yes, the hard tires. All right, let's do this. Okay, as soon as we get done with our pit stop here, we'll go ahead and get car number 2 in. Okay, everything complete so far. And looking good, no mistakes. All right, let's queue up car number 2. Tire change, we'll go with this. And fuel options, we will go, let's do same thing. About 50, about 55 or so. There we go. All right, so we'll see how this works itself out for Lee now, driver number 2 in the car. Oops, let's get to the correct driver. And now we'll pick up a few spots here and there because of the pit stops, but essentially it's going to come down to our speed. Do we have the speed in this car? Can we please stay on the car that I'm interested in? I'm trying to get a glimpse here at how far behind we are of those cars that have already made pit stops. Now again, I'm not going to worry too much about the ones on medium tires because we know those don't last very long. The hard tires only really lasted for us about the 45 minutes roughly. We could have gotten a little bit more out of them by trying to save them a little more, but the medium tires shouldn't go anywhere close to that. Okay, you can see we're making our way back up through the field. Some pretty good speed at this point. But we're going to try to push as much as we possibly can. We're pushing the engine, we're pushing the car, and we just hope that our parts will hang in there with us. Okay, so we got more medium tires showing up on the grid. We'll see how that works out long term. That to me would signal probably a 4-stop strategy, unless they're going to try to do one ultra long medium or ultra long hard tires strategy on at least one of those stops. But so far we're in the ballpark. We're not near as fast as I wish we were, but so be it. Again, long term we'll just have to work with it as best we can. All right, tires to the point of getting too hot, so we'll back off a little bit there. So really we won't know how all of this is going to unfold until the end of the race. Some of these guys will be on maybe a 2-stop strategy. Others like us will be trying to do a 3-stop, and then others still may be trying to do a 4-stop. All right, so we're about 25 seconds out of the lead and just outside of where we want to be right now, which is the top 5. But realistically, I'm looking for a podium every race. That's what I want. Okay, let's go ahead and push some more. And I'm watching those tires on the folks ahead of us. Right now I'm spending a lot of time looking at the gaps and trying to see sort of where we are in the grand scheme of things right now. I mean, you gotta love it when you've made 2 pit stops already and you're still ahead of several that have only made 1. So that's some serious speed that we definitely do not have right now. Okay, so the tires, we're down to 30%, but again, you can take these hard tires way down, unless they've changed something in an update that changed when they hit the cliff. It is a very low number. In fact, it might actually be 0, but it's a very low number regardless. All right, more pit stops are happening. Guys are coming in for pit stop number 2. Okay, so that would indicate they're going to make at least 3 pit stops and perhaps even 4. All right, but we're at 41 minutes. Still plenty of stamina left, so that's not an issue at all. So plenty of stamina left, but we are getting at the point where we are ready for our second pit stop as well. All right, we're going to make, there we go, 1 more lap, and then we're going to come in and we're going to see what Petra can do. So at this point, still on the hard tire, and the fuel, we have 12 laps of fuel left here, so that was 55, so that's going to put us around 43 or so. So let's work our way down to, let's do about 50 on the fuel this time. And so I miscalculated that last time. I wasn't paying quite close enough attention. So we'll lower it down a little bit. I don't want to quite run it all the way out. Okay, I like the way our parts are doing. We're halfway through the race. Things are looking pretty good considering where we are pushing this thing hard. All right, so we're going to driver swap out to Petra this time. And we'll get her going. All right, tires come off. All right, jacks go down without a hitch. Tires as well. And no mistakes. Excellent. All right, so we're going to start off pushing with her as well. All right, let's go ahead and get our car number 2 pit stop prepared. Another set of hard tires. Fuel, let's go ahead and put them up to about 50 as well. And All right, that should be good. All right, more pit stops are in the making. Let's see where we factor out after all of this runs its way through. Okay, tire heat coming up. All right, so let's see how our stamina is regenerating for Sophia. All right, so she's back up to 62. That's good. So we're going to need her in the car for the final stint. All right, tire heat getting up a bit too high. All right, so everybody more or less has done their second pit stop. We've still got one person that's still out there. Wow. So they're going to make the two-stop strategy. It looks like they're trying to make that work. They're going to be pushing it to get there. Oh, and there they come. They come into the pits now. Okay, I see another car that's about to come in for their third pit stop. So some of these look like they're going to be 4 stops. Just judging from how they're running this thing. All right, let's go ahead and push some more. All right, so far so good. You can see again more pit stops, and we'll see how all this turns out. Maybe 4 stops is the correct call on this. That is a lot of pit stops, but this place burns through tires pretty quickly. When a hard set of tires only lasts you about 45 minutes with any pushing, that's something. Because normally you're looking at those being able to last you somewhere around an hour and a half or so. All right, so still happy again. You can see more pit stops are underway. Well, those soft tires, man, it feels like those are good for qualifying, and that's about it. Because you can't get any time out of those. But you can see they've got them on there, so they should be extremely fast. But at the same time, they are going to wear, you can almost just see the wear meter moving. All right, tire heat getting up a little high. Let's back off to neutral. So at this point, they've already done 4 stops. Wow. And obviously that's not their final stop. So they're going to do probably a 5-stop race on this. All right, so we're within the last hour now. And trying to keep track of the length of our stint. Okay, we're up to 35 minutes. So the length of the stint is perfect. The stamina is perfect. So she's going to have plenty of stamina to go the distance. Okay, so far so good. More pit stops happening. Okay, we're down to 30% wear. And there's our warning right on cue. All right, so again, you can see everybody's strategy is starting to play out. We're starting to get a much clearer idea of what everybody intends to do. Now, unfortunately, we don't have the car right now to compete for the win. We should be very close with a combination of car and driver, but unfortunately, that is not the case right now, at least at this track. All right, I see some repairs going on. All right, so we're good. I mean, everything is looking nice. Fuel is much better this time, using the, I believe it was 50 that we used this time as opposed to where we were before. Let's make sure stamina. Yes, Sophia is ready to go. Okay, let's go ahead and set up our final pit stop. And we're going to have less time that we need to do, but I'm still not... let's see, 35 minutes. Wow, that would be so close if we could do this. That would be pretty great, but I don't think we can do it. That's pushing it a little bit too close. A little bit too close for comfort. Although it says 36 to 38 laps. So if we could get 32 laps, all right, let's take the chance. Let's do it. Because the laps and the time don't add up. So if we can get about 32 laps out of these tires, then that would be, I think, plenty for what we need, but we're about to find out. So we're going to plan for about, let's put about 40, if we put 40 in there for fuel, that should get us where we need to be. So let's go a little bit higher than that and try to give ourselves a little buffer. All right, parts look okay. We're down to 44% on the engine, but I think we're going to be okay. So we're swapping back out. We're going to put Sophia in the car, and let's get this thing moving. All right, what we hope to be our final pit stop anyway. And we'll have to see how these tires do. We need a great pit stop. Complete, and complete, no errors. That's what we want. All right, let's start off being neutral on the tires. I want to see how the tire heat does. We don't want to shred these tires, but we do want to use them to their fullest. So I need to get a little bit more information before we just go all out on them. Okay, let's go ahead and get our next pit stop underway for car number 2. And we'll just keep putting the hard tires on. Let's give them plenty of fuel so it won't even be an issue. Okay, let's move back over to car 1. Alright, so the heat is going down. So now we know we can push at least a little bit. Okay, we'll keep an eye out and see how quickly the tire heat goes up as we're pushing. Okay, stamina should not be an issue for the driver. This will be all about tires and probably not fuel at all. I'm hoping I've got plenty of that. Okay, so the tire heat is definitely going up, but it's not going up at an extremely rapid pace. It's a very manageable pace that it's increasing. We've seen it some tracks in the past where as soon as you start to push, you can just watch the needle jump. Alright, so let's manage this. Let's go back down to neutral and take a quick look at our lap times. We're in the minute 7 range right now, which isn't overly quick. Alright, we'll keep an eye on that as we keep going forward. Oh wow, that is definitely not good. A minute 9 is not going to get us anywhere but losing positions. So again, you have various things, traffic, driver skill, all sorts of things factor in that, but it's never good whenever you slow down that much. You can see they're right on our tail now. Alright, more pit stops, so we're able to move up. We're now on the podium, well, at least momentarily anyway. Alright, let's start pushing again and see if we can... We want to fight for this. There you can see 16th place is right behind us on the track. And there they go. Alright, so let's push and try to give ourselves every opportunity that we can. In fact, let's go to overload. And I think, yeah, we're going to make that on the engine. But again, we're going to give it everything we've got. In fact, let's go full attack mode. We got 6 minutes, 6.5 minutes left, and we're right there with them. Okay, drive time will not be an issue. Alright, so here we come. Tire heat is about to be an issue, so we're going to have to back off a little bit, but hopefully not for long. Okay, let's go right back to pushing. And oh, we're a little over a second out. And a minute and a half remaining. Can we catch them? They're right there in front of us. And all right, last lap. Last lap. And give it everything you got. Push. Well, we didn't quite make it there. All right, so we're about a second and a half out of second place at the end. But hey, we made our goal, which was to get on the podium. So that's good. We're making that progress. So we got what we needed to get out of there. And again, we'll just continue to move forward, try to improve our car, and ultimately at some point we'll improve the drivers. But right now I'm happy with our drivers because they are cheap at this point. Because they are paid drivers, they are saving us quite a bit of money. All right, so we weren't that far off the lead. That's the good news for us. We weren't that far off. So we've got some speed in the car. We'll bring home another podium, which I am very thrilled about. Okay, team standings right now, we're still in third. Very close here in the middle of the grid, though, so we can't afford to slip up. If we slip up like we did last season with those mistakes on pit road and driver errors and all that kind of thing, we will be back down to fifth in a hurry. So we are very close to second, but also very close to fifth. All right, so we'll move through our final few screens after what I will consider another successful race. 2 podiums in a row to start the season. We'll take it. Okay, again, driver morale not going to be an issue. And let's see, relationship with the mechanic, we need that to continue to increase. Driver form, not overly great except for Lee. Lee was tremendous. Unfortunately, no increase in marketability. That's odd. I mean, I know we were supposed to come in third. We did come in third, but still, it's still third place. So we should continue to increase in marketability, I would think. Wow, poor Patrick. Man, he terrible in this race. Okay, so we lost 900 grand, thanks in large part to the sponsor bonuses there. So 900 grand, we will take it, and we will move on. So let's move through these final screens and get right back to our main menu. That's going to do it for this time. Another successful race, 2 podiums in a row to start the season. Thank you very much for joining me, and stay tuned next time where we will head, looks like, to England and continue our Let's Play series of Motorsport Manager.